Hello, how's everybody doing? In tip 527, social justice and technology. This is John Shaw, and I'm here to give you a quick synopsis of my program and a quick presentation of how everything has come over the last 8 weeks since we began our work together. Thank you very much for taking some time to watch my presentation. I'd like to give you an overview in a face-to-face video and then do some screen sharing about my project and where it's come to. So thank you again. So when we were given the task to make the world a better place through our presentation and our projects, through the lens of empathy and social justice, I decided that it would be worth my time to provide a educational resource to basically provide equity for anyone in education. And so when I started to drill down on that, I thought about the people in the town that I live in here in Greeley, Colorado, about the local school district, Weld County District 6, the public district, and how to look into access for those involved in education. And in doing that, I was able to locate on the Weld County District 6 webpage the 21st Century Grant that was received by the district with some stakeholders in the city. And through that grant, I realized that they were providing a support beyond the traditional school building. A lot of our readings and research this semester has helped me understand that the physical space of school is rapidly changing in the year 2020. Even prior to COVID, we are in a space that Collins and Halverson would call a new era. And so I wanted to sort of take that grant and look at the resources there and the stakeholders and see how I could help. And in doing some of the research, I realized that there are quite a few underserved populations in the district that could have to do with socioeconomic status, that could have to do with English language learning, and that can have to do with access to education. That might parlay for educators and their support in learning technologies that will benefit them, as well as students and families. And so in looking at that and trying to understand a little bit more about the other stakeholders in the grant, like the Northern Colorado Immigrant and Refugee Center, Ames Community College, and a handful of other periphery additional nonprofit organizations, I wanted to focus on learning communities. And I feel that developing resources for the motivation of intrinsic learning for educators and for families and students would be a good thing to focus on. So with that grant, I wanted to focus on the extra enrichment activity as well as the academic activity. And it was originally written to help in a physical location beyond school hours. So in the era of COVID with emergency remote teaching, I wanted to take those concepts and go beyond the physical structure of school and provide resources for those in education. Okay, so as you may recall, I got to do my book report on Rethinking Education in the Age of Technology by Collins and Halverson. And one of the main tenets of their book is the new era of using school structures melded with online learning opportunities driven by intrinsic motivation. So I was thinking about, how to motivate these learners, whether it's teachers and then a separate group of families and students into being motivated to learn more about technology and the resources that are out there on the internet for each group. I found that through the literature review that there is a gap in teacher training in educational technology. I feel that during our course communications and things via Canvas, I really got a window into all of the environments that my classmates are in, that they are sort of leaders in the field and in their physical space. And it seems like there were quite a few allusions to other educators maybe not knowing how to be trained in some of these resources. And so again, in the age of emergency remote teaching, we're in a sort of a crisis moment to provide these resources. Another gap in the literature or in the educational world is the lack of family support. That could have to do with technology, and that can have to do with access to online learning. So this led to me in my project creating 2 fluid documents. One is a free educational technology support list for educators. The other is a free resource list for online family and student resources. Okay, so the prior was aided by the course Alternative Learning Formats that I'm taking this semester with Dr. Matthew Farber. And in collaboration with him, I was able to utilize a lot of his formats that he's an expert on and knows a lot about to provide those in a setting for teachers to access. So I really want to thank Dr. Farber for working with me on this project. And additionally, the additional resource was resources for students and families online. So if possible, I'd like to do a screen share with you now and show you a little bit more about them. Well, my first situation is that when I created my document, initially it was very text heavy and there were no graphics and it was just links and it did not look very well. It was not very appealing. And so through that, again, under Dr. Farber's help, I was able to find a web application called Wakelet, which I'm showing you now, which is really cool. I hope you all have a chance to incorporate it in your work. And so with Wakelet, I've created 2 documents. Let's go ahead and look at the educational technology resources for teachers. And then I've got 78 items, and I've had, since I posted it in this format, about 42 views. The list of resources will help educators access and learn how educational technology can help support their work. And then I have different headings: EdTech Basics, Universal Design, Resources, Gamification of Lessons, Social Learning Tools, Flipped Learning, Interactive Lessons, Inclusion Apps, and Professional Development. This is such a cool application because you can just edit as you go. And what you do is you're able to do different things here. And it's a really wonderful, graphically enriched way to search. And to include web pages and headings and things like that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you as well that you can change. So this is kind of the layout I chose is the grid view, which is sort of, I think it's easy to read for teachers. So I have a heading, and then under the heading, I have all the different links that may be beneficial to them, the educators. And so going through, you can see some of those items. Universal Design, additional resources that some of us have talked about in class or utilized in our own profession. A little bit about gamification, different resources there. Social learning tools, so flipped learning, doing Flipgrid and some flipped learning. So getting, teaching the lesson via video, and then students watch it before class and then come to class and you fine tune and learn that way. Moving ahead, Twine, create your own adventure, and then doing some of the student lessons with feedback and assessments. These inclusive applications are also neat. I got some feedback from families on that. They had appreciated incorporating things that helped their students and their families with differentiation and learning. So that was exciting. And then towards the bottom, I have an opportunity, like if a teacher like ourselves wants to do some professional development, these are some of the nonprofits that I've worked with at the University of Northern Colorado that we work with. And again, you basically just click on the link in the web page, and it takes you there once it's posted. Okay, and then our program I have as well. All right, so I'm gonna come back up, and one other thing I want to show you is if you want to move, change the layout, you're able to do that. Just takes a minute, and the green plus signs go away when you're not using them. Another neat thing, if you need to reorder them, which I definitely had to do a few times, is you're able to do that pretty easily by moving stuff around. So that's that resource there for teachers, and it is public. I made it public. You can invite people and do some different things like that. Then I'm done with this, and so it takes me back to my Wakelet screen. And then I did the educational technology resources for students and families. I had just moved this one to this format from the Bland Tech listing. And so again, it's basically what I'm envisioning with this is, hey, it's a rainy day, we're home from school, kids, and let's go ahead and do some learning. So then they'll be able to look at it this way. And I like this format for the kids, the students. This one is, what is this one called? Mode. The layout is mood, sorry. Mood board is the mood board one that I like. So a lot of fun stuff here. And again, it kind of pops up as you scroll down. And this is a really fun one because you can just kind of, this is assignment, this fluid document that can never end, you know, if you don't want it to. And so in my feedback survey, I am soliciting more ideas from either one of these fluid web pages, resources that people are able to send me additional web resources that they'd like to see, maybe that I don't know about. So that's how that looks. So thank you for letting me show you that. And then I've also shared this on my social media pages, like my Facebook and things like that. Okay, so I'm going to stop my screen share, and then I just wanted to mention, as I kind of synthesize all of my thoughts with our class, is that, you know, I feel that positing these resources to the world, that it adds to emergent phenomena to help in the equilibrium of complex systems. Supporting educators, students, and families allows for a conceptualization that equitable online resources may allow for all of us to become intrinsically motivated in learning what's pertinent to our lives. Throughout the course, we've learned from each other and supported one another, and I'm thankful for that, and that I had the social justice course along with the alternative learning format course, so I can see the current learning environment and the stark reality of this era. Also, I overhear my wife teach online second grade in Weld 6, and this has allowed me to understand the concepts of inequities and diminished access, as well as how socioeconomic status affects learning. I feel that my resources of compiled online resources will aid in a robustness of people becoming the things in life they want to become via technology. This project does not address a lot of things like funding, technology, or access beyond the internet, but I do feel it made the world a better place because there is a component of radical empathy. By providing these lists, each group, educators as well as families and students, feel supported, is able to find resources, and feel that empathetic learnings are consistent with the online world if one knows where to look. These ideas lead to a collective construction of meaning as well as a digitally enhanced community of practice. And that's from Donaldson, that last piece, 2020. So thank you all for listening and learning about my project. It's been a pleasure to learn with you this semester. I've learned a ton, and I'm looking forward to working with you in the future. Thanks a lot. Bye.